Good afternoon, Year 9, it's Miss Dooner here, and welcome to your first ASL assembly of Summer Term 1. I hope you're all well. A few thinking points today, they link to what we're going to be talking about. The first one is, how are you feeling about your final half term of Year 9? This is the final 6 weeks before you become Year 10 students. How are you feeling about it? When have you epitomised our motto during the last few weeks? So our motto is work hard and be kind. I know loads of you have been working hard, and I hope a lot of you have been kind to others and yourself. See if you can think of an example of each of them. Pause the video if you want to reflect. So in today's assembly, I wanted to talk to you about a word that has been thrown around quite a lot on Microsoft Teams, whether it's in Happiness Hour or in the discussions that we've had with you, and that word is resilience. You've probably heard of the word resilience before, or the adjective resilient, but what does it mean? So the noun resilience, it's an abstract noun because it doesn't register any five senses, but you can certainly show it or feel it, is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, and it's showing toughness. It comes also from this idea of definition 2, which is the ability of a substance or an object to spring back into shape. So just like an elastic band, if you were to pull an elastic band pretty far, it would stretch out, but it would bounce back to its original shape. And that is being resilient. That's what resilient means. So whatever difficulty you faced, you can kind of get back to where you were before. And this is a quality that loads of you have shown before, whether it's in a lesson or in a hobby that you have. You all are showing it quite regularly. And I want to just share a time recently that I've had to be quite resilient, and you might relate. So picture the scene. January the 1st, 2020, I decided, right, I need to do something to increase my fitness. I was pretty much just watching Netflix when I got home from school, eating, and not really doing a lot, which isn't good, is it? And loads of you in Year 9 are so active, you do loads, and that is brilliant. Make sure you keep it up, because believe me, when you become an adult, you kind of lose that, and you don't maintain your fitness, so you have to really keep it up. So I decided, right, I'm going to start running. I was inspired by Mrs Davis, the head teacher who'd started the year before, as well as some students in Year 9. So Oliver in my Year 9 class is a runner, and he talked to me about the benefits of it and things that he was doing. Also Chloe B also motivated me to give it a go. So I thought, all right, I'll try it. I downloaded the Couch to 5K app on my phone as a little motivator. So you listen to that through your headphones as you go. So the first one, you probably know, especially the girls in Miss Dunne's group in PE, I know she's done it. You just kind of walk in with a bit of running to build up your fitness and your ability to run. So every day you go out, you're getting that little bit better, and you can see it on your phone. So this was really good for my confidence, and really good at making me feel motivated to do it. So I can recommend apps for sure. I was getting better at it as well. So back before lockdown, I was going to the school gym on the treadmill with Miss Nuttall, who is really into her running and biking. So she was giving me loads of tips as well, and it was going really well until one day I went, and for some reason I got really out of breath, and it was harder than it had ever been before, and I didn't know why. My legs felt like lead. I didn't want to move. I just wanted to turn back and go home. And then I kind of stopped for a bit and didn't bother. And that's when I started to realise something. That is what I thought my success of running would look like. I thought I'd start in January, by June I'd be running a marathon. Literally, that's what I thought. It sounds really stupid to say now, but that's what I thought it would look like in my head. That is how we as society and we as Year 9 sometimes see success, isn't it? We think that we're going to start something, whether it's our maths work for that day, and by the end of it, it's going to all be done absolutely perfect. But that is not what success looks like, is it? That is what it really looks like. It is messy. It is not a clear line from start to end where you go from never running in January to running a marathon in June. It does not happen like that. There are lots of bumps along the road, aren't there? And that was a lesson that I had to learn, and you'll see in the videos I'm going to show you now that you have to constantly battle through. So I'm going to show you now just a couple of clips of my running experience during lockdown, and I want you to think about this idea that I'm sharing with you now, especially about resilience and how I'm having to be resilient. Okay, so there'll be some questions for you to consider. Okay, so it's 3:30, I've just finished a day of online teaching and now it's time to go for a run. Haven't been for a run for a week. I really don't want to go because I'm looking outside and yeah, it's nice and sunny, but it's a trap because it's windy as, and it's absolutely freezing, and I've got my heating on, to be honest. So I just want to stay in and I just want to watch Netflix and read my book and scroll, but I know I need to go because I know that when I get back I'll feel better. Just realised my jumper's inside out, but it doesn't matter because this has got to come off because I'm going to be sweating if I wear it. So the time has come. Wish me luck. I don't want to get I'm back. My top and my face are one now. They are the same. That was hard, but okay, like manageable. I normally do 5k. I say normally, like I've literally been doing this for like, well, I started in January and I couldn't run until probably March. So I normally do 5. But I've just done 7, which is really good for me. Like, yeah, I'm proud. And I'm really glad I went. I really didn't want to go because it was windy and cold, but when I was out, obviously you warm up. And you forget, like when you're young, you just walk and run everywhere anyway. Like you don't know how lucky you are just to be able to do that. It's hard now, like it's actually hard. So yeah, I'm proud and I'm happy that I went. And now I've earned my Netflix. Yeah, might have some chalk. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those videos. They're very accurate representations of me every time I have to go for a run. So I want you to think now, how did I epitomise our motto? Our motto is work hard and be kind. Now to some of you, that run that I did doesn't obviously link into it, but it does, doesn't it? Because I am working really hard physically with my body, but also mentally. I'm pushing myself to go outside of my comfort zone. I want to be curled up on the sofa watching Netflix with a bag of sweets or something, but I'm not. I'm pushing myself to get out there. It's also me being kind to myself, isn't it? Because we all know that increasing our fitness and pushing ourselves in that way can be really beneficial to our bodies, can't it? So I am being kind. And also the feelings you get from doing exercise, those endorphins that are produced, scientifically are proven to make you feel happier, aren't they, when you're finished? So I was kind to myself, and you can even see in the second video I look happier than the first one. How did it link to resilience then? Well, we've talked about you need to be able to bounce back from difficult situations, to be resilient and do things sometimes that you don't necessarily want to do. And that is exactly what I did. Now, it's such a small thing for some of you to do, to go for a run. Think about what it might mean for you. Is it that you need to do some more challenging tasks in your science lesson? Is it that you need to hand in a piece of coursework that you've been putting off for ages? We all can do things sometimes that challenge us just that little bit more. I've seen some brilliant work just Wednesday in English from Joshua in Miss Murray's English class. He was really challenging himself and having to be so resilient to do his English work. So we can all show it no matter how small it is. So following those then, there's a couple of key takeaways that I just want you to reflect on from today's assembly. The first one is this: being resilient always has a reward. So for me, it's increasing my fitness and also my belief in myself that I can achieve things. I told you that in January I downloaded the Couch to 5k app. Well, in that video, how far had I run? 7k. Last week I ran 8k, and I've now set myself a goal to run 10k by the end of June. Now, that is such a brilliant reward, and if I'd have done nothing in January or left myself to not push myself through those hard times and be resilient, I would never get here, would I? So it always has a reward. It might be for you that it's a grade that you get, it might be it's a feeling, or it's something that you can achieve, but it always has a reward. But to get that reward, obviously it's going to be hard at first, isn't it? You won't want to do it. So be aware of that. So if you're doing something, especially on virtual school, maybe it's in, I don't know, a French or Spanish Kahoot quiz, and you just think, oh, I can't be bothered with this. It will provide you with a reward. If you're finding it hard or challenging and you're having to be resilient, you're going to get something out of it. So whether it's logging onto your maths live lesson, or submitting some coursework in health and social, whatever it is, if you have to be resilient to do it, you're going to get a reward, aren't you? But it might be quite challenging, and that's okay, that's expected. The last thing I just want to say is this: it doesn't matter how small it is. So I've just talked about going for a run, and I know some of you will empathise with me, like Caitlin out there, you know how hard this is, and some of you will be thinking, what on earth is Miss Dooner going on about? Runs are easy, I could do that really easy, and that's absolutely great, but it's not easy to me, and that is what counts. So if you feel like something you're doing is very challenging for you and you're having to be resilient and other people find it easy, that does not matter at all. It might be that you need to be resilient to get up for your first lesson of the day at 8:40 because you're so used to sleeping in. That's absolutely fine. It might be that you need to be resilient because you've got a competition in gymnastics coming up, or a 10k race that you've been signed up to in year 9. Whatever it is, everyone has different circumstances, don't they? And no one's problem or challenge is any bigger than anyone else's. We can't compare them, can we? So it doesn't matter how small that challenge is. Never feel embarrassed about it. I'm certainly not telling you about this, but hopefully you now feel inspired to share yours. The last thing as well, that I want you to definitely take away are epitomised in these 2 quotes. The first one, of course it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Hard is what makes it great. And the other one, nothing worth having comes easy. And this is such an important concept to grasp, year 9, right now. If it's easy, everybody would do it, wouldn't they? If it was easy, everybody would get grade 9s. There's a reason only 1% of the population can get a grade 9, because of how hard it is. So that's why it is always worthwhile to challenge yourself, because think of it like this as well. If you could click your fingers now and get yourself your dream car, would you appreciate it? Would you value it? No, you just want something else. The journey is what's important, isn't it? The skills that we build, the things that we go through, ultimately are what makes that end goal so great. So 2 really key takeaways here, and I will keep referring to these on our Teams page. So that is it. Quite a deep assembly this week. I wanted to talk to you about that and just share with you where I'm at. And I really want to hear from you with this. So I'd love to hear, how will you be resilient in your final weeks of year 9? Are you going to set yourself, like I've said here, some subjects that you want to show more resilience in? Do you want to make sure that you're submitting work in maths to Miss Jeffries, for example? Do you want to make sure that in health and social and childcare you're up to date with the coursework? Whatever it is, have a think. Even if you can think of one thing that's going to really make a difference to your goals and where you go in the next couple of years. And what rewards will you gain if you put in the work? I'm not going to lie, the only reason people often do things is because there's something to get from it. Whether it's a grade, whether it's a nice house when you're older, think about the rewards you're going to get if you put in the work. So often this is really good if you can find little ones, so that's why we're always praising you on Teams and giving you points. But also think long term for yourself. what will you get by putting in the work now? So I would love to hear from you on this. As I've signposted here, please come over to our Year 10 Teams page. We'll be discussing this today and going forward, and don't forget to keep your eyes out because there's always stuff going on that page. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Friday and a lovely weekend, and I will see you very soon.